Hello, namaste, Hare Krishna. So the subject we're continuing from yesterday is work. So that's in everyone's routine, some work or activities. We can't not be active. That's the nature of every living being, to be active. So we're doing some work, and whether that work produces the result of money or not, that's like a side point. But everyone's doing something, at all times. And according to the Vedas, that work that we're doing, those actions, are producing results. And it's the results of our activities that entangles us in this material world. So because of the reactions to our past activities, we're here now in this body, and the activities that we do in this body now is causing us to come back again to reincarnate in another body. And, well, what's the problem with that? The body is fundamentally full of 4 serious problems. It goes through birth, and then it grows old and gets diseased and dies. So those are the 4 main problems in any kind of body, whether it's human or not human, or on a higher planet or a lower planet. According to the Vedas, there's life on all planets. But we all have this fundamental flaw. No matter where we are in the material world, we have to go through these 4 basic problems or miseries. So how does the Vedic culture help us out of this problem? It shows us how we can act without getting a reaction. Non-reactive work. It's called in Sanskrit Akarma. So you're doing activities, but you're not getting a reaction. Versus you do the activities and you get a reaction. And you get a reaction when you do the activities for your own pleasure, for your own sake. But when you do the activities for the sake, for the pleasure, for the enjoyment of the Supreme, who we call in the Vedas Krishna, he has many names, but that's the main name given in the Vedas. It means all attractive person. So when we do activities for the sake of the Supreme Person, it's like working in devotion. When you work in devotion, then you don't get a reaction, neither a good one or a bad one. It's like you didn't do anything because you're not getting a reaction. So that sets us free, that liberates us. So when this body dies, if you've acted in devotion through your life, then you don't have to take birth again. And you can enter into an eternal, blissful, conscious, fully conscious spiritual existence. So that's explained in the Vedas as the goal of human life, that we have the higher developed consciousness where we can achieve that complete freedom from all suffering and problems and enter into an eternal blissful state. So, as I said yesterday, I really recommend that if you're a bit inquisitive about achieving this result of complete freedom, then read the Bhagavad Gita as it is. It'll give you step-by-step process how we can find the ultimate perfection, which is freedom from the cycle of birth and death. According to the Vedas, that's the ultimate perfection. if you think the perfection is to become a millionaire or a CEO or something like that, or get the best house in the best suburb and live happily with your family and everything like that, I mean, these are all okay things, but as we all know, that it's all temporary. So it's going to come to an end. Are you going to be happy with a life where everything comes to an end? So according to the Vedas, that's not the real happiness. A human being should search for the best quality happiness, and that's happiness which never comes to an end. And just to give you an idea, there's a really nice example of how it's possible that you can act without getting a reaction. And just like in the wartime, then if the soldiers work under the direction of their authorities, and the authorities are ordering them to fight, to kill, then they don't get punished for that, for all that killing. However, that same soldier, outside of the wartime, outside of the working under his authorities, he just goes out and, because he feels like it or whatever, shoots one person, kills one person, then he's going to get a big reaction, big punishment there, just for killing one person. Whereas in the wartime, he might have killed hundreds or thousands. So what's the difference? The difference is, in the wartime, the soldier's working under his authority, and outside of the wartime, he's working just according to his own whims, like that, not under authority. And we should learn from that example that we also want to bring our own life under the shelter of the supreme authority of Krishna, of God, and then we won't be affected by the outcome, by the results of our activities. And so we should just be working as a matter of duty, not just what we like to do or what we don't. I do what I like to do, and I don't do things that I don't enjoy or whatever. But we should act as a matter of duty and not be attached to the results. That's a massive lesson in the Vedic culture, is that you have a right to do your work, and it's your duty to do your work, but you shouldn't be attached to the results. Are we in control of the results? No. Are we the cause of the results? No. Do we have a right to enjoy the results? No. Actually, the outcome of our activities is under the control of the Supreme Being, according to the Vedas. And all the results belong to the Supreme. I mean, what everything we're doing in this world, what are we working with? We're working with earth, water, fire, air, space, all material elements combined in different ways. And where do all these elements come from? It's the energy of God has created all these things. All these material things were here before we were born, and they're going to be here after we die. And in between birth and death, we somehow think it's all ours. But actually it's not ours. That's an illusion, which is called Maya in Sanskrit. That's an illusion to think that it's mine and that I can enjoy it. Actually, all these things, they belong to the Supreme, and they're meant for the pleasure of the Supreme. And our duty is to create offerings for the pleasure of the Supreme Being. And then when we act in that proper capacity, as a cooperator, as a helper, as a servant, as a cooperator to please the Supreme. We're all working together, just like the family all works together to please the father and mother. So all the children are working together to please the father and mother. And when the mother and father are pleased by the children's activities, then the children naturally get everything that they want, that they require. And if the children act in a rebellious way and go against the parents, then how comfortable is their life? They're living at the mercy of their parents when they're little kids, right? When we're little kids, we all are. If you go against your parents, that's not very smart. You're like shooting yourself in the foot, because they're maintaining you. They're maintaining you, giving you everything you need: food, shelter, accommodation, clothing, everything. So our Supreme Mother and Father, Mother Nature and Father is Krishna, then they are providing all our necessities of life. So it's the intelligent thing to do. We just have to apply our logic and reasoning, which all human beings have, to these kind of issues, and not just get very emotional and sentimental about things. And this rebellious attitude, where we don't want to cooperate with the person that's maintaining us, is not helping us. We're just hurting ourselves. You're not hurting God. You're not hurting nature. But we're hurting ourselves by not cooperating and fulfilling our role. We're all parts and parcels of the Supreme. Just like the hand, right? The hand is part of the body. What is the function of the hand? To do whatever it wants? No. To try to enjoy separately from the rest of the body? No. It's meant to cooperate with the whole body. The food grabs, like food for example, and pops it in the mouth. And then it goes to the stomach, which is the central point of all the energies of the body. And then from the stomach it gets distributed to the hand and all the other parts. So like that, if us trying to enjoy separately from the Supreme, thinking we're going to be happy without connecting with the Supreme, is like if I sever the hand off from the body, is that hand going to be happy? Disconnected from the whole body? No, of course not. Can the hand just grab the samosa or sweet or whatever like that and think, I'm not going to put it in the mouth anymore. Why do I have to give it to the mouth? I just want to enjoy it myself. If the hand just squeezes that food, is it going to get anything out of that? It's not going to work. The only way the hand can get what it needs is by giving it to the whole body. You have to give it to the whole body. So modern materialistic society is like a hand cut off from the whole body. We have, wonderful achievements, skyscrapers and tunnels and fast internet and Wi-Fi and mobile phones and, electronic cards and computers and so many things, big hospitals and big schools and everything. But as a result of all of those advancements and technologies and everything like that, what's the end result? Are we, individually and collectively as a society, are we happy? I don't see it. I don't see that people are happy. Because we're missing the central point. We're all just acting, separately. Separatists. Not united. We're not united. And as a result of that, we're not peaceful. We're not happy. We're not satisfied. We have a lot of material things, but we want more and more and more and more. It's unlimited, our desires. It's never ending. And we're so frustrated. And people get depressed and lonely and everything. So you got a fancy car and a house and money and everything, but what's the point if people are depressed and lonely? We have people that jump off skyscrapers like that because they had some bad results in their work, isn't it? Like that, if the stock market crashes, you have all the businessmen suddenly jump off skyscrapers, because they were attached to the result. So these things are very valuable. Don't just think it's some, old theoretical knowledge, all this Vedic stuff, Bhagavad Gita stuff that's not relevant to us. It's very relevant, as relevant today, if not more relevant than ever before. Because now we have like serious major problems in society, and these spiritual solutions, these are the ones that are actually going to help us. With our material problems, where there's no material solutions. We've been trying for hundreds and thousands of years to find material solutions. We just make the problems more worse. We make it more complicated. We need to go higher up. We need to transcend and find some spiritual solutions to our problems. And then just in one go, all problems can be solved. And the ultimate solution, like I say, is that when the body dies, you don't have to take birth again. Because all these problems are affecting us because we have a body. But if you don't have a material, physical body, then you're out of the problems. So that's the ultimate solution. And in the meantime, if we toe the line and work in harmony with the Supreme, we can be, to a very high degree, peaceful and satisfied and happy in this world. And like one bit of guidance given to us in the Vedas is that we should only work enough just to keep the body and soul together. So basically that means just to stay alive. Work that much. And why should we do that? Because then you don't have to work so much. We work so much, more and more all the time, because our desires are never ending, Like there's enough to satisfy our need, but there's a saying like that, but not enough to satisfy our greed. So there's no limit to greed. One time a reporter asked the richest man in the world some years ago, John Paul Getty, what do you think about when you're all alone? And his answer was very interesting. He said, I think about how to make more money. Oh my God, he's already the richest man in the world. Why does he need more money? He doesn't need more money. But the greed is there pounding on his brain so much, And the result is that never satisfied. And if you're not satisfied, how can you be peaceful? Satisfaction is a prerequisite of peace. When you don't have any more desires, you're satisfied. And then peace is the prerequisite of happiness. And happiness is what everyone wants, to be happy. But you can't be happy, truly happy, without peace. And you can't have real peace without satisfaction. And you can't have real satisfaction unless you're a bit more spiritually evolved, conscious. Because if you're a materialistic mentality, then you won't be satisfied. So we have to advance our knowledge and our realization, and realize that material things, they don't make us happy. Come on, in the West we should all know that, because we've experienced it pretty thoroughly, and we've all had so many material things. And has the end result been as promised to us through our education and our parents and so forth, that if you get all these things you'll become more happy? No, that's not the result we've got. It often makes us more unhappy the more we have. So the idea in Vedic culture is very simple living and high thinking. They work together very well. If you live simply, then you have ample time for developing your awareness, your consciousness of who I am and why I'm here and what's my purpose, how I can find a solution to suffering and all these kind of things. And but if you live a complicated living, then there's no chance to think. You're just living day to day trying to pay the bills, and there's no chance to think anything higher. And that's a great tragedy, if a human being with a very good brain potentially doesn't use it for what it's meant for. It's just wasting our time, our valuable time, like that. So, yeah, ideally we should just work enough just to survive, and then hopefully we should finish our work, within 8 hours in a day. We shouldn't have to work more than 8 hours in a day, maximum. And if we live very simply, then there's no need to work more like that. And according to Ayurveda, then 24 hours in the day, 8 hours for the body, 8 hours for the mind, 8 hours for the soul. That's the balance. That's the balance we want to try to work towards. 8 hours for the body, what does that mean? That's your sleeping and eating. Maybe you sleep 7 hours and you eat for 1 hour in the day. Like that. So it's about 8 hours. And 8 hours for the mind, that's what Ayurveda puts your work in that. Because like a person's not satisfied unless you've done some work to, contribute for the benefit of your family, for the benefit of society. You've done something useful, then it makes you feel worthwhile and that you've achieved something, so it gives you some enthusiasm and encouragement like that. Otherwise, not working, you may feel mentally disturbed, I'm worthless, I'm no use, whatever like that. And I'm not just talking about, like I said, I'm not just talking about whether you're, working to produce money. Even like the work I do, I'm not producing money, but I'm working in the garden and producing food, and then it's getting cooked and served out to different people like that. I feel, and it's good for my mind, I feel like I've achieved something, done something like that, so it gives you mental satisfaction. And then 8 hours for the soul, and that's your understanding who you are and your relationship with the Supreme and developing that relationship. And that's the whole process called Bhakti Yoga, which is also outlined in Bhagavad Gita as it is, like that. And how, learn how to work in devotion, not just work, like an animal, just for eating and sleeping and sex and fighting, like that. So we want to learn the alternatives. So we need some time. So we should do some reading, some spiritual texts every day, do some meditation, some chanting. And that also, if we uplift our consciousness through that, spiritual connections, then that period at work will also improve. Like if you get up at the last minute in the morning, swill down some coffee, and then race off in the car to work, what kind of you're going to get some good outcome, good results? Probably not so good. But if you, like I said, get up early, do some things which are good have a healthy body, and then do some yoga and meditation, these kind of things. Just clear your mind, steady your mind, become equipoised and everything. Then when you eat a nice grounding breakfast, then you go off to work. Then you can carry on with that peaceful consciousness, being happy, satisfaction, everything healthy, full energy, and you'll get better results in your work. You'll get better results in your work too. So it's a win-win, everything's going to improve. But if you delete that spiritual part from your 24 hours, it's all just for the body and the mind. I just eat and sleep and work, eat and sleep and work, eat and sleep and work. Then you're gonna fizzle out. Your body's health is going to fizzle out, and then your peace of mind is going to fizzle out. And then people keep having to prop themselves up with coffee and tea and drugs and so many stimulants, like that, just trying to keep things going. But that's a recipe for disaster. And all that while you're just accumulating bad karma, like that, getting reactions and all suffering that we experience comes from our own past bad karma, and all the happiness we experience is due to our own past good karma. So we are responsible for our own happiness and distress in life. Nobody else is responsible for what I'm experiencing. I'm the master of my own destiny in that way. So these are things we all need to learn. How karma works and how to get free from that by working in devotion. And, just a few little practical tips, getting back to, we've had our breakfast and you're going off to work. So like I had mentioned previously, if you can, prepare some food which is according to your body type, your dosha, and take it with you to work. So you can eat your main meal at the best time for digestion, which is around the middle of the day, whenever you take your lunch break, 12, 1, 1 to 2, whatever like that. Eat your main meal then is better. This Western society is destroying our health by not letting us eat at the proper time, and most people eat their main meal late in the night, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Terrible for the health if you do that every day. So yeah, if you can prepare your meal in the morning, or prepare it in the night time, the night before, prepare it, and then just warm it up the next day. Take it with you, warm it up at work or warm it up in the morning, put it in a thermos. If you don't have time in the morning, although if you get up early, like I was saying, you probably will, but even if that doesn't work for you, then make your meal in the evening and take it with you and eat it, at the right time, like that. Or if you've got some food vendors close to where you work that are producing some, healthy food that's suitable for your dosha type, then just spend the money and buy it, and eat it at the proper time. And that's just going to, be so much better for your health. Don't be miserly with the money and not wanting to spend it, towards your health. That's the real use of the money that we're earning from our work. Eat at the right time some healthy food, and that will help you so much. And then whenever you can, try to get some exercise in there. Like you can walk or cycle to work if you can, that's great. Or walk or cycle back, or in your lunch break, have a little walk in the park or something like that. Just keep moving. The body's not designed to sit the whole day, just twiddling the fingers and things like that. That's not very good, for our long-term health. And please, 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 don't get dragged into night shift. It's very unnatural, this modern invention of getting us to work through the night, and that's very disturbing for the mind and the body. If you want to, our work shouldn't be resulting in shortening our life. Actually, our work is meant to help us, prolong our life. We're working so that we can get the things that we need for the body. That should be the purpose of our work. Not that it's going to destroy our health, And even worse than working just night shift is if it's changing week by week. 1 week day shift, 1 week night shift, 1 week day shift, 1 week night shift. You won't know whether you're Arthur or Martha after a while. That's very disturbing. So yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Compromising your health just to make a little bit of money. There are other ways to make money that don't require destroying your health. So that's what we should be looking for. Okay, so that's just a few things about the bigger picture to do with how do we act in this world and how do we work, the mentality behind it, and that we want to make our life more sublime, more deeper. If we just superficially, going through the motions, work hard to pay the bills, no, that's not human life. We need to go deeper in understanding our purpose here in this world. So hoping this meets you all in good health.